It is a profession where you'll be called upon to make instantaneous decisions. Instantaneous decisions. You're not going to be able to get on a cell phone and text something out and check things. You're going to have to make those decisions. It's all up here and it's all in your heart. That may or may not affect another person's life or their family member for eternity. Life and death situations. Is that not the ultimate responsibility in an uncontrolled situation, an uncontrolled atmosphere? Also, being attentive to the needs of others can be very messy, very painful, and almost impossibly difficult. It takes special people, very special people. A special person like yourselves to provide this service to the community day in and day out. And in order to sustain this service, the key attribute is compassion. And the good Father mentioned that in his opening prayer. Compassion. And you all have it in your hearts. Each and every one of you have this compassion in your hearts. If you didn't, you wouldn't be here today. To the family members and friends who are in attendance today, if you are not very proud, you should be very proud, number one, of the career path these loved ones have taken and their success graduating today. It's not an easy process. These are special people. Special people that will be out there 24 hours a day providing a service to this community under very difficult circumstances. And to sum up what I've been trying to say, and the mayor and the councilman, it can be summed up, and it's right on their brochures and their posters. You've seen it posted here and that. And it says the greatest privilege is the opportunity to care for others. That's you folks. And I would recommend you all get a copy of this. And you put it in your lockers at work. And every day you come to work, you read this. And not just tomorrow, and not just in 2 years, 5 years. You read this, because this is what you're all about. You have that compassion in your heart, or you would not be here. Follow your hearts and do a great job. Be safe, and God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Next, I'd like to introduce to everybody Dr. Thomas Collins, and he has served as the Medical Director for divisions of EMS, Fire, and Police for almost 20 years, I think 20 years, or we're at 20 years. He has selflessly given himself to us for allowing us to do the care that we do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to function at all in the community. You have worked with him as far as the cadets. He's come and he was here yesterday. He's lectured you, so you're well aware of what his expectations are going forward. But I'd like to have your families meet him as well, and he's going to talk a little bit about what he does and how you guys do what you do out in the community. Dr. Collins?
Give me a second to pull up my Twitter. Congratulations. I want to begin by thanking all of you for taking on this wonderful challenge and dedicating yourselves in the service of our community and our visitors. On behalf of all the doctors and nurses, and most importantly, on behalf of all the patients, for the intellect you're going to apply to disease and illness, to the kindness and compassion that you're going to show. I'm really excited. I was thinking, I think, Director or the Mayor, while you were talking about, why do I do this? Because you and I were just chatting. We've been doing this a long time, and we're all doing it. It's completely selfish, okay? While I respect and love and admire all of you, it's completely selfish, because the great care that you provide our patients makes our jobs in the emergency department, excuse me, so much easier. The patients come in, they're stabilized, they're calm, Many times they're happier. They just know that they are in good hands because of the good hands they've been in with each and every one of you. During EMS week, a thought crossed my mind and I wrote it down and I pulled it up because I wanted to share it with you. To me, it's one of the ways we can sum up EMS. EMS brings clarity to chaos, comfort to the distressed, and hope to those having the worst days of their lives. And this is what you'll do each and every day. Some days will be really, truly remarkable things. Pressing that shock-advised button and starting the heart back up, delivering babies, restoring consciousness to those that are completely comatose. Okay? Other days will be more routine. Some abdominal pain patients, some stable chest pain. Each and every day will be completely different. That's one of the beauties of what we do. But every day you have to be ready for the entire spectrum of disease, injury, and illness that you may see. And for that, I thank each and every one of you. The saying that the director talked about is something that resonates deeply with me. The greatest reward for doing is the opportunity to do more. That's a take on one of the quotes from Dr. Jonas Salk, who developed the polio vaccine. How many of you have to come across polio patients on your calls so far? None. It's gone. So one of the things that I will encourage all of you to do, even though you've learned a lot in the academy, and thank you very much, Sergeants Kelly and McHugh and Commander Lau for preparing these fine men and women. But one of the things I encourage you to do is to continue to be lifelong learners, because more than any other safety profession, you will probably find that EMS is the one that continues to modify and learn and evolve. The things that you'll be doing in the field 5 years from now will be completely alien to what you're doing right now, as far as diagnostics, testing, monitoring, and just our knowledge of disease. So you have tremendous careers ahead of you, and continue to love what you do day in and day out, and I could not be more proud. Thank each and every one of you. Good luck.
And actually, before we present the certificates, I wanted to share with you a letter from somebody, and I came across this during the week, a letter from a patient who we had served in 2013, and I want you to understand how important your role is, and they may not ever get the opportunity to say thank you to you, but we do get letters periodically, and just because somebody doesn't officially say thank you, remember you make the difference in their lives. So this was dated December of 2013. And the gentleman starts that. He says, often we take city services and personnel for granted. He says, while I no longer live in Cleveland, I still think about folks who saved my life. This letter contains personal notes to two of them that just did their duty. On December 16th of 2004, at about 1:30 p.m., I suffered a heart attack at my house on Corman Avenue, and the paramedics responded within minutes of my 911 call. En route to the Cleveland Clinic, I flatlined. The paramedics stopped the ambulance and revived and stabilized me until we arrived at the hospital. Because of my timely transport to the hospital and the professionalism of the paramedics in stabilizing my condition, my life was saved. The operation was a success. It has been 9 years since the event, and I want them to know I am alive and well. Because of them, I was able to see over 3,300 more sunrises, kiss my wife 9 more times on her birthday, walk my daughter down the aisle, give my son a well done when he walked his daughter down the aisle, be around for the birth of 4 more grandchildren and a great-grandson. Sorry, it's emotional. The actions of these few affected more than just my life. And he basically goes on to say his heartfelt thanks and wishes to everybody who serves the community. So you may not always get that thank you, you may not always save a life, but for everybody that you touch on a daily basis, they appreciate what you do. And it may not be instantly that they say it, but it may be 10 years down the road that they send a letter to say thank you for saving them. Next, I'd like to bring up and go over the presentation of the certificates, Sergeant Gwendolyn McHugh, and I believe she's on class number 11. cadet class number 11. So we'll have the distinguished guests come up front for the pictures. Sergeant McHugh.
I'd like to bring up our first, not cadet, right? If we could have EMT Andrew Baumgardner come forward, please. EMT Michael Bosman. Paramedic Kyle Chambers. Paramedic Corey DeRocher. Paramedic Daniel Fedor. Paramedic Joseph Gomboski. EMT Brian Gudermuth. EMT Danielle Harris. Paramedic Megan Harris. Paramedic Jonathan Johnson. EMT Brian Kovacs. Paramedic Thomas Kraft. Paramedic Alex Lopez. Paramedic Anthony Lump. Paramedic Christopher Myers. Paramedic Jared Monsman. Paramedic Devin Patchen. EMT Olivia Payne. Paramedic George Peters. EMT Amani Phillips. Paramedic Jonathan Piazza. Paramedic Nicholas Pizak. Paramedic Colin Quinn. Paramedic Eric Rapinski. Paramedic Dominic Trozy. EMT Remington Walker. Paramedic Christopher Wheeler. Congratulations to everyone.
And before I introduce the class president, I just wanted to make mention, in case she's watching on TV 20, after you helped out with Senior Day, Miss Jean Boilinghausen, she actually wanted to be here, Corey, especially for you. She had bought you a special flag pin, and actually, she bought a pin for all of you guys. She just couldn't be here. She's actually in the hospital. She had an illness, so in case she's watching, I just want to make mention to her. Now I'd like to introduce the class president, Paramedic George Peters.
Thanks, Commissioner. Good acoustics in here, I guess, right? Good afternoon. My name, as she mentioned, George C. Peters. Friends and family call me Craig. For the last 14 weeks, I have been serving alongside these men and women before us as a cadet. It has been one of my greatest honors to train and serve with them all. Day one of the academy, we came to class, some nervous, some still a little wet behind the ears. We were informed that everything from that point forward was to be earned and nothing was to be given. That, we all would soon realize, was an honest summarization of the 14 weeks of hard work and dedication that were to follow. As the weeks progressed and we were still learning how to pronounce some classmates' last names, I couldn't wait to hear the names mispronounced at graduation, and here we are. I seriously never thought that I'd become so close to this many individuals in such a short time period. But when you have many people that need to work together to succeed, you seem to get to know each other well. Not to mention when you must hear and write 2,500-word biographies on each other. It naturally builds a certain bond. This academy has trained us all for all aspects of the job, but not only that, has made us better-rounded individuals. We all learned quickly that if we didn't want to see Sally, we'd better learn how to iron properly for inspection. And for some of you that may not know, Sally was our PT song we work out to. Ironing is something we would eventually acquire how to do, like many things during academy learned after numerous disciplinary PT sessions. We all quickly learned that details were the key to success at EMS. There were many struggles throughout the past several months. Many thought that they may even die after the first agility test, and that's including myself. Various tests over protocol and general orders of the division, countless study assemblies, and personal workout sessions to ensure failure was a word far from our vernacular. But pushed to your limits with a good attitude and a lot of effort, triumphantly prevailed. Armed with faith, determination, perseverance, we achieved our goals. The power of the human mind is the most powerful force in the universe. What we conceive with integrity, hard work, and education, and a positive spirit, we can accomplish. Through all our pain and all our strife, we came together as a team to push each other to where our bodies and minds originally thought impossible. Through careful guidance by our instructors and training officers, we embark upon the great crusade towards which we have striven these many months. Without Sergeant Calley's stories of past experiences, the tests would be harder to confront. Without Sergeant McHugh's attention to particulars and impartiality, the academy would have been chaos. Lastly, without our FTOs showing us how to transfer knowledge gained in the classroom to field application, we'd still be trying to find out which way was north. Many of others in education and in the field may not have been mentioned, but just know most everyone in the division has had some sort of impact on our journey to discovery. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate anyone who dedicates their lives in the service of people, but I personally believe EMS to be the most important of all professions. When I say that being an EMS provider is the single most significant job there is, I'm not just saying it because this is an EMS graduation. I'm not just saying this because that's what everyone wants to hear. I'm saying this EMS is the most significant job there is, and I really feel it to be true. And that's why I say it. Think about it for a second. Unlike even other public safety providers, it's EMS personnel that puts themselves smack dab in the middle of tragedy. It is the EMS provider that seeks out life's worst moments to bring hope and comfort. And it is the EMS provider who takes on the worst that humankind has to offer and takes control with a level head, a firm voice, and gentle hands. The Academy cannot teach you compassion. Compassion is just something you have within you, and it has driven many of us to this field. I hope as our career progresses, we all can remember the compassion that has pushed us to join EMS and serve something bigger than ourselves. Thank you to all the family, friends, and loved ones that supported us throughout training. Without you, success would be far from possible. To my classmates, the path we have chosen is full of hazards, as all paths are, but it is the one most consistent with our character and courage as a community and our commitments to our family and our city. The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it. And one path we shall never choose, and that is the path of surrender or submission. Remember, you have the greatest job in the world. Kids look up to you. Grown men call you on their worst days, and you have been given automatic trust because all those have come before you. Don't blow it. Much like EMS, life can be funny and serious. We either laugh about it or cry over it. Either way, it continues on. I look forward to a great career together in the service of Cleveland. Thank you.
Thank you, Paramedic Peters. Well said. Well, this concludes the ceremony, but there's just a few housekeeping notes. If you need your ticking validated, see Commander Chapin over there. Also, I welcome everybody back to EMS headquarters where we're going to have some refreshments, and that's courtesy of Metro Health Medical Center, or you can stop at the food trucks outside. They're actually very good as well. So if we can conclude with the benediction with Mr. Ensman.
Please stand. God of creation, we praise and thank you for this day, for these new members of Cleveland EMS. They stand before us as a testimony of your uncompromising love for all. May they be instruments of that uncompromising care and concern for all they come in contact with. May they be living examples of what makes the people of Cleveland special and unique and great. We say this in your name. Amen.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Have a good afternoon.